Good evening, I'm Savannah Kelly. Welcome to APTN National News. APTN News has learned a human rights complaint alleging sexist, racist, and abusive behavior has been launched against Nishnawbe Aski Police Service Chief Roland Morrison. The complaint was filed with the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario in January 2023 by former Head of Finance Lori Payne. A total of $225,000 in damages is being sought. 2 other police service employees are also named. None of the allegations have been tested by the tribunal. Last week, the Nishnawbe Aski Police Service Board suspended Morrison with pay, citing an independent investigation into allegations of misconduct. It is not known if these allegations and the human rights complaint are related. For more information on this story, head to aptnnews.ca. A lucrative Atlantic fishery will be closed for a second consecutive year. The announcement was made Monday afternoon by Fisheries and Oceans Minister Diane Laboutier. Elvers are baby eels which are caught and sent to Asia where they're grown for food. A kilogram of elvers can sell for as much as $5,000. However, in recent years, the fishery has been the focus of conflict and violence between harvesters and DFO agents. In a released statement, Laboutier said without change, the risks to conservation of the species can't be addressed and orderly management of the fishery can't be restored. The federal government says they've earmarked $195 million to boost employment initiatives for Indigenous people. Employment Minister Randy Boissonneau was in Vancouver recently to make the announcement. APTN's Tina House was there.
Through the Indigenous Fashion Week, they're going to give them the practicums and those opportunities throughout the year.
It's a busy day here at the Aboriginal Community Career Employment Services Society, also known as Access. Access has been providing employment and skill development programs for thousands of Indigenous people throughout the Lower Mainland since 1999. Today, Federal Workforce Development Minister Randy Boissonneau is here for an announcement.
On behalf of the Government of Canada, I'm happy to announce and celebrate that Access is receiving over $21 million for their Indigenous training and apprenticeship program. And this funding, under the Skills and Partnership Fund, is going to help Indigenous people in Greater Vancouver to get the skills they need to complete technical training in a skilled trade and eventually achieve Red Seal Journey Person status.
Sid Stevens is one of those tradesmen. He went through an Access program and is now a carpenter working on major construction projects. He says he owes it all to Access.
So I started with their program called the Blade Runners, which was an introductory into construction and gaining me a bit of certifications through that. Upon completion of that, I was so career driven on becoming a full carpenter. And I didn't know where I was going to go to for help in that scenario. And then 2 men by the name of Rob Egan, and he's not here today, but Gary Jobin. Without those 2 men, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today.
Lynn White is the CEO of Access. She says the $21 million will go a long way to expand their programs and services.
The funding that Access is receiving is and will continue to make a big impact on our urban Indigenous community. We are training hundreds of people, and they will fill much needed positions in the trades.
According to Minister Boissonneau, in the next 5 years, 700,000 skilled tradespeople are going to retire in Canada, which opens the doors for more newly trained tradespeople to fill those vacancies.
Our Indigenous people have been excluded from economic prosperity for too long, and we're working to come up into a life with meaningful employment and opportunity so that our young people will know that there is a path already cut out for them to follow.
Tina House, APTN National News, North Vancouver.
This past weekend, a group of women and gender studies students from the University of Saskatchewan met to discuss the challenges of homophobia and transphobia in schools and post-secondary educational institutions. The undergraduate students brought attention to systemic barriers faced by transgender and two-spirit communities. Our reporter Rachel May has more.
In October 2023, the Saskatchewan government invoked the notwithstanding clause to pass Bill 137, which makes parental consent required before a child under 16 can use a different gender-related name or pronoun in school. The Queering is Community event focused on supporting transgender and two-spirit communities, which Bill 137 affects.
New to this community, and also understanding about queering, as a community, been working with two-spirit LGBTQ, non-binary plus. I've even had to learn the terms, the acronym or whatever you want to call it. Over the years, so I've been arm's length, but I'm still learning.
Joseph Natao Howe from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation is a cultural advisor with the University of Saskatchewan's Law School. He spoke about his personal journey of learning about the 2S LGBTQIA+ community.
This is something that we can't deny is happening and is going to be here. It has always been here, right? And so before that, nobody talked about it.
Fern Toop, co-leader of the Queering is Community Committee, says that seeing the support at events like this is quite special.
This is all in reaction to a government bill. And the fact that a whole bunch of students got together bolsters my soul a bit from all of the kind of abusive things that have happened towards trans and queer people lately.
Shuinisko is a two-spirit spoken word poet who attended the event. Shuina is a member of the Klamath tribe near southern Oregon and northern California who referred to two-spirit peoples as balanced relatives.
Our relationship to self and our spirit. Because when we accept ourselves, when we have a growing relationship with who we are, our spirit, in the context of our environment, I think that allows us to feel confident and safe and reassures us that we'll be okay.
Attendees had the opportunity to write letters to members of Parliament about how they felt about Bill 137 in hopes of changing the legislation. As a notwithstanding clause can last for 5-year terms, all those involved in the conference are hoping to hold more events to show how many people are outraged by Bill 137 and continue to call for change. Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
The 2024 Arctic Winter Games are underway in Alaska. We'll tell you about a couple of the teams competing after the break. Welcome back to APTN National News. Athletes from across circumpolar regions are in Mat-Su Valley, Alaska this week, competing in the Arctic Winter Games 2024. Our reporter Charlotte Morit-Jacobs shows us the highlights of the opening ceremonies.
The beloved Arctic Winter Games are kicking off this week with opening ceremonies at the Menard Sports Center in Mat-Su Valley, Alaska. Around 2,000 athletes and volunteers are here from host community, Alaska, Yukon, Northwest Territories, Nunavut, Northern Alberta, Nunavik, Sampi, and Greenland. Special guests such as Governor General Mary Simon took to the podium to share her message of never giving up.
As an Inuk raised in Canada's Arctic, I am proud to be here to witness this incredible talent that we have before us. This determination and spirit you each bring from our northern communities is incredible.
The games are taking place on the ancestral lands of the Danena and Adna Dene.
Welly is land. Welly Jan. Hello, good day. Glad to see all of you here. I hope you all welcome all of you here, and I hope you have fun as well as a good competition. We appreciate you all to be here. We also like to thank and welcome.
The friendly competition unites participants from north of the 55th parallel in their shared cultural values and love of sport.
We are stronger because of this gathering.
This includes reclamation. At these games, Team Greenland emerged with the name Galactic Nunut to reflect the people who live there. The 22 sports played will be complemented by cultural activities, such as an Indigenous Arctic fashion show, cultural gala, traditional demonstrations, and more. Immediately following the ceremonies, teams are lacing up with futsal, hockey, and curling games that took place Sunday evening.
The Arctic Winter Games begins here today. It's the time to make new friends, see old friends, share memories, make new memories, many of which I guarantee you will last a lifetime. Celebrate, embrace these moments. Welcome to Alaska. Welcome to the Mat-Su Borough. Welcome to the 2024 Arctic Winter Games.
The competition goes from March 10th to the 16th. Charlotte Moore-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
With the Arctic Winter Games underway, APTN had an opportunity to speak with Team Alberta North's cross-country team just before they traveled to Mat-Su for the competition. APTN's Chris Stewart has the story.
Team Alberta North has nearly 200 athletes competing in the Arctic Winter Games this week, from ages 10 to 21. And they are looking to improve upon their third overall place from last year's games in Fort McMurray. Helping to do that is a cross-country ski team based in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Sarah and Troy Martin both competed last year and say that experience will help them this week. 17-year-old Sarah says she has many fond memories of the Fort McMurray Games.
The best memory of the games was probably when I was skiing up the hill, the last hill, and all my teammates were cheering me on, and it's go, go, go. It's yeah, it was a very big memory.
Troy knows medaling won't be easy.
Our coach also told us in past games we have been Team Alberta North has been strong on the podium. So and we've been skiing against some World Cup people, and it's been, so I'm hoping to get to know them and maybe see them in the future in future games.
Darian Carrier, who is only 12 years old and competing in his first Arctic Winter Games, says the veterans on the team have helped him prepare.
It's a mix of emotions for me. It's I'm excited and nervous. It's international, and I would expect mine to be closer, same country. But nope, it's in the USA, so yeah. But I am sure excited, and from what I heard from Arctic Games experiences, there's a lot to behold, and can't wait to meet new people from different countries.
So we're excited because
Head coach Claire Richter says recent competition has kept athletes sharp, and that veterans like Sarah and Troy have really helped prepare the younger athletes.
For Darian and Troy, they just came off of the Alberta Winter Games here that we hosted in Grand Prairie a couple of weeks ago, so they have a little bit of a feel for it. But that younger age category, it's hard to manage all their energy over a week-long period, so that the veteran athletes really help sort of rein those kids in.
Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
And here's an update on how Nunavut's hockey teams are faring at the Winter Games in Mat-Su, Alaska. Nunavut, whose under-18 male team won hockey gold for the first time ever at the last Winter Games, lost a close one on Sunday. They faced off against Team Yukon and were tied 1-1 for much of the game, which led to an overtime period where Yukon managed to squeeze by. The under-18 female team took to their first game against Alberta North. That game wasn't quite as close, with Alberta winning 7-1. The under-15 male team, also facing Alberta North, didn't fare much better. Alberta won 7-3. The under-18 female hockey team, as well as the under-18 and under-15 male teams, all face off against Alaska tomorrow. A dedicated group of friends is gearing up for a trek up Mount Everest to raise money for a First Nations mental health and healing center. For one of the so-called Black trekkers, it's a very personal journey, as Australia's NITV Dan Rennie explains.
In a remarkable display of determination and compassion, a group of friends known as the Black Trackers are set to embark on an expedition to Mount Everest Base Camp.
Smile for the camera.
It's the second time Wanyi and Calcutta barrister Joshua Creamer has made the journey. At the heart of his endeavour lies a deeply personal journey. He tragically lost his brother to suicide on Boxing Day 2022.
While I was over there, I thought to myself, geez, I would have loved to be able to do something like this with my brother or people I really care about. So I came back and I had that idea in my mind, you know, I want to go next year, I want to keep going.
Joining the trek is prominent First Nations psychiatrist Camilla O'Man, Dr. Clinton Schultz. The team will be raising funds and awareness for First Nations mental health.
I don't think, unfortunately, there has been enough awareness raised to that amongst majority populations. So more than anything, I want to get the message out there to majority populations that, you know, this is something that our communities are having to face every day.
The Black Trackers have teamed up with the national mental health charity, the Black Dog Institute. They hope to raise $50,000 for the first Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Lived Experience Centre.
One of our four main pillars, our strategic pillars at the Institute at the moment, is to form strong relationships with community and to be seen as a trusted partner with organisations and communities, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander organisations and communities.
During the trek, they will face physical and mental obstacles, like those battling mental health issues.
We're going as a team effort too, so you're only as strong as your last person, and we'll walk together as a group, we'll take breaks when we need to, and we'll help each other get up there.
A staunch group of 11 will make up the team heading to Nepal. Dan Rennie, NITV News.
And best of luck to that group on their journey. We need to take one more quick break. Still to come, a long-running film festival featuring women filmmakers kicks off in Vancouver.
Beautiful. I think the most powerful and the strongest works of art are just come from the core of who you are.
Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. This weekend, John Kershane snapped this view from atop the Canadian Human Rights Museum located in downtown Winnipeg at the site of the historic Forks. Thanks for sharing that, John. Keep those photos coming by email to share@aptn.ca for the chance to be our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Starting off on the East Coast, 3 degrees and snowy for Halifax and Fredericton. Kuujjuaq, mix of sun and cloud, -2 there, snowy and -5 for Nain. St. Jovite, sunshine and 9 degrees, Saguenay, -1. Sarnia, sunshine and +17 there, Ottawa, +11. Kapuskasing, sunshine there, 6 degrees, Big Trout Lake, snowy and 0 degrees. Churchill, snowy and -3, Norway House, +5. Winnipeg, rainy and 2 degrees there, Dauphin, sunshine and +2. Regina, rainy and 3 degrees there, Yorkton, 0 degrees. Stony Rapids, sunny and -8, La Ronge, 0 degrees. Sunshine and +7 for Peace River and Grand Prairie. Red Deer, mix of sun and cloud, 8 degrees there, Medicine Hat, +13. Vancouver, rainy and 9 degrees there, Bella Coola, +6. Dease Lake, sunshine and +2, Smithers, snowy, 6 degrees. Mayo, mix of sun and cloud, +1 there, Rock River, snowy and -22. Norman Wells, -20, Wrigley, snowy and -9. Paulatuck, snowy and -17, Colville Lake, -13. Baker Lake, snowy and -20, Nauyat, mix of sun and cloud, -14. Clyde River, -21, and Iqaluit, sunshine and -17. Also making headlines is Emma Stone. She won Best Actress last night at the 96th Academy Awards, but many are calling the win the night's biggest mistake.
And the Oscar goes to Emma Stone.
She beat fan favorite Lily Gladstone. Gladstone was nominated for her role in Killers of the Flower Moon. She's the first Native American contender in the category. Stone won for her role in Poor Things, her second Oscar win. The 19th annual GEMS Film Festival kicked off in Vancouver as women filmmakers from across Canada are featured in a 6-day event. APTN's Tina House has this story.
It's the opening night of the 19th annual GEMS Film Festival, formerly known as Women in Film and Television, and it's a full house as they celebrate women filmmakers. Debbie Kershane is the Indigenous programmer of the GEMS Festival, which stands for Gender Equity Media Society, and says this year's lineup is exciting.
It's about 6 days, and there's about 36 films, 28 shorts and 8 features. We have a great lineup of Indigenous filmmakers, 3 shorts and 1 Inuit feature film happening on Friday.
And one of those filmmakers is Kaya George from the Tsleil-Waututh Nation in North Vancouver. Stardom runs in her bloodline, as she is the great-granddaughter of the late actor Chief Dan George, the first Indigenous person ever to be nominated for an Oscar award. Her film, Our Grandmother the Inlet, is screening at this year's festival, and for George, who also grew up as an environmental activist, this film means a lot to her. She grew up along the Burrard Inlet, and it's now surrounded by industry.
We didn't see this place the way the world does now. The water wasn't a commodity. It was what sustained us. It fed us and cared for us. It was who we are.
It weaves in poetry I've written to the inlet and about the inlet, and it weaves it in with interviews of my father and my grandmother, and it shows the connection that I grew up with and that my people grew up with around the water and around the Burrard Inlet, and touches on our creation story, the Tsleil-Waututh people. As the story goes, we came from the water and we belong to the water, and we see it as our oldest grandmother. And
it is our grandmother, the inlet.
Alexa Blind is featured in the short film Nisi Kasan Lex, directed by Kayla Wischel. The film centers around Alexa's creation of an online digital platform of her and her friends, and some of the issues they face growing up in a small town in Saskatchewan.
You don't realize how special and rare a connection like me and my friends, like a group like that, how rare that is to find in a community like this, because it's so hard to build and maintain. I have some friends, and they're some of the most amazing people.
Alexa started the online platform at 18 and has built a following through social media platforms.
I was a young person just taking care of my little brother.
I was diagnosed with several mental illnesses at a very young age.
It kind of began out of a place where I just wanted to give opportunity to my friends and other people to kind of share their raw story, what they've been through, what they kind of have struggles talking about.
Just a place where you can be real and raw with your story, and you have no fear of what people are going to say, what people are going to think.
Those videos that she made for her series Digital Voices were so beautiful and so true and so honest, and when I watched them I felt like only Lex could interview those people. They're just so amazing.
Kaya George has some advice for some upcoming filmmakers.
Don't let your youth, don't let your inexperience deter you from making something beautiful. I think the most powerful and the strongest works of art are just come from the core of who you are.
Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
And that's all the time we have for your Monday news. For news anytime or to catch up on stories you may have missed, visit our website at aptnnews.ca. I'm Savannah Kelly. Marcy Miigwech, thank you for joining us. Have a great night.